Nick and I first met at church through a mutual friend. We had never talked before, and I was at church one time, and a mutual friend, kind of introduced him as being single and asked me if I was interested in looking. Wasn't really at first, but decided to look him up and Facebook him, and then we started dating after that.
She sent me a message on Facebook, and at first I think it took me a while to respond. And then once I did respond, it was like we were just inseparable at that point. We went on our first date to a Japanese restaurant, and it just seemed like I knew that this was the girl I wanted to marry. Of course, I wouldn't tell her at that time, but we had instant chemistry, I guess.
Our first date was at Hibachi, which is where we're having our rehearsal dinner, and it was my favorite restaurant. I always went there with my friends, and then we went putt-putting afterwards, and then he took me home.
Well, I had to go jump my friend's motorcycle at first, and I knew that if she could hang with me while I did that, she was definitely a keeper.
When I first met Nick, it was kind of odd, but not, because I had never met him before, and I'd seen him at church, but we had actually never talked until the first time was when you were on your way to my house and you got lost, and I had to call you, and he had to come and meet my parents and just everyone for the first time, including me. And
Began.
And my dog, and from that moment I kind of had a feeling that it was special, and from there, the feelings just kept getting stronger.
Aimee went on a family vacation to Minnesota, and before she had went, we were inseparable. When did you go? Late July?
September. August.
And we had really started dating in July. We had been talking all through June, and our first date was in June, but we really started getting serious in July, I think. And she went to Minnesota in August, and that week I knew it. I knew I had to be with her the rest of my life. I just had that feeling in my heart, and I prayed about it, and I guess it all came to me. It was clear, more clear than anything had ever been in my life. So I knew at that point I was going to ask her to marry me. And the whole time she was there, she could barely get text messages, so I could barely even talk to her. I remember sometimes she'd be like out in the woods and whatnot, so she could try to find reception to call me, and we would talk, but it was very vague, and she was cutting in and out. But at that point is when I decided I was going to ask her to be my wife. When me and Aimee first met, we both knew that the most important thing in our life was God. And with that being the center of our relationship, that we could do anything, we could go anywhere. And it was kind of like the glue that held our relationship together through all the troubles and things that we faced in our relationship, and the bumps in the road and whatnot. We always had that glue to keep us together, and our spiritual faith and God, and yeah.
We've conquered a lot, came through a lot, and it would be hard to do it alone and not have people and, there for you to support you. And
it'd be so easy to quit, but it's just something inside like this, just something telling me not to give up, to keep going. And pretty soon she'll be my wife, and I'll make the biggest commitment of my life to her. And I'll honor her and spend the rest of my life with her. And we'll live our life and walk our journey with God.
We love our animals. We have one.
I have a stepson that I'm taking on, Began,
and we have Sammy Joe, and we got a cat,
Dexter Ann,
by ourselves. We love Dexter Ann. She's a new addition and she's very spoiled.
She's a girl cat named Dexter because we thought it was a boy.
Yeah, we got the cat, we thought it was a boy, took it to the vet and found out it was a girl, so we kept Dexter as the name.
Dexter Ann.
And they're all our babies. They get spoiled all the time and we love animals. When we look at our life, we can see us having children together. I love kids. I've always worked with kids. I was a nurse with children for 5 years. And you like kids, but not as much as me. I just have a stronger connection with them, and I've always wanted to have kids at an early age.
I think most important with me is I've always wanted to have a son and raise him in the Christian life like my father did with me, and you know, be a baseball coach, a football coach.
I have one sister, her name is Carly, and my mom and my dad are still married. We are very close. We go to church together. We were growing up in a Christian home. They've helped me a lot with planning the wedding. Yes. And the thing I like the most though is your family has accepted me and they love me for me. It's not always easy coming into a family that will accept you because everyone's different. But they really like me, and they're always willing to be there and love me as their daughter or their new daughter.